So, hello, my international professionals. Here's Tani Storani, your international career strategist. And today I have a very special guest, which is an Irish client, James. And he's going to talk about LinkedIn and job hunt strategies and how to use AI, artificial intelligence, to help you improve your job hunt and LinkedIn hunt strategies. Thank you very much, James, for being here in the channel.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me. It's always good to talk to you, Tana. If it's live or if it's offline, I'm always going to be here for chats, whether
Yes,
that's just
we
talk
have
about
lots
life
of
or
chats,
anything else.
aren't we?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And I was just asking Tana a few minutes ago whether we would be speaking in English or following in Portuguese
O James fala português, gente.
because because I lived in Brazil and my wife is Brazilian. We're married for over 10 years, so yeah, I speak Portuguese as much as I speak English probably on the day to day.
That's amazing. What do you prefer, Portuguese or English?
It's funny actual question. I'm not really 100% sure which one I prefer because I'm probably like a little bit different in each language. I'm probably a little bit happier when I speak Portuguese, you know that?
Hmm,
Like naturally on my face because it's just, I don't know, it's just a happier rhythm to the language. It's a happier language to speak.
that's true. I agree with you.
So maybe I'm a little bit more serious when I'm speaking in English because I'm used to like speaking English in work and whatever, but when I'm speaking Portuguese, generally I'm speaking to friends or my wife or whatever and just having fun. So I don't know, inside it's just related to smiling and having fun.
So let's start in English. And if a question in Portuguese come up, we answer in Portuguese.
Sure.
So welcome,
And
welcome, welcome everyone here. Don't be afraid that James speaks English or because he's Irish or because is native English speaker and you don't speak enough English to get a job in Europe. Look, James understands that he lived and worked in Brazil. He knows how it is, the culture barriers, the language barriers, and
hmm
it's as hard to us here in Ireland than for the Irish there in Brazil, living in Brazil, right?
no, it's much easier here than it is for me over there.
Do you think
Brazil is
so?
like 100%. Like even the immigration system in Brazil, it might have improved a little bit, but back in 2012, the immigration system, you would think you were in the 1970s. Like you had to like go and speak to the Polícia Federal, and then it seemed
Yes.
like the guys who you were speaking to, like they hated their job, so they would just be like sitting there with their feet on the desk, just going próximo, and then you go and ask a question, and they just go, olha aqui no site, rapaz. No, próximo, and you just like get a website on a piece of paper, and you wouldn't know what to do, and like it is nothing compared to here. And this was like a small office in the airport as well. It wasn't like in Ireland you've got like a whole immigration system and staff and everything. It's not as resourced in Brazil. Like, I waited for 3 years just after
Why?
being married in Brazil. I waited for 3 years just for my equivalent of the GNIB that you get in Ireland after like a month you get in Ireland. I waited for 3 years.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
Okay.
you guys think it's hard to
Amazing.
like come to Ireland and get a job and all that kind of stuff. There's way more opportunities for you to work legitimately. I had to work illegitimately or debaixo dos panos, under the table in Brazil for 3 years basically.
Yes,
So
yes.
much different.
So, James, tell to our clients, to the people watching us, followers, about your story uh,
hmm
and why LinkedIn was such a game changer for you. Because
hmm
James, he reached me after I met him on the podcast, right? I think we met on the podcast that day, Tokyo.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe you were, yeah, but we had spoken before, like maybe just briefly or something online a few times. And I'd followed you for a long time. I'd known about you already for a long time because you've been
Really?
doing this for, Yeah, you've been doing this for a while already at that point. It wasn't. So I'd
Yes.
already known of you and kind of the value that you give to the community for a while. And then, yeah, I was over in Thalys' place one day, or I was nearby and I saw you were live with Leonardo Freitas on the
Yeah.
podcast. So I just called over because you were nearby. I came in with my son, I think, just for a few minutes just to say hello.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
But we met when I bumped into you, you were on Capel Street. You were
Yeah.
outside of Vitor's shop on Capel Street in Dublin, and
Yes.
it was right at the time when I was kind of so before that ESW job there, product strategy analyst. You can see on the career history or whatever it's called, work history, the green one. If you scroll down, so before that
Product
green,
strategy analyst.
yeah, before that I'd finished doing startup, like doing my own startup, and I was
That
kind of a
one.
consultant. I was consultant on and off with that company there, which was another startup. So I wasn't making so much money at that point. So I was doing music as well, kind of full time. And when I met Hannah on the street, I was actually carrying a bunch of instruments going to play in
Yeah.
like a in the Temple Bar, that typical Irish pub in Temple Bar. I
Yeah.
was going to play music there that day,
Yes.
sweating. I was carrying a bunch of heavy stuff, sweating. And I was like, "Oh, Tana." I was like, "Oh, I really need to like actually settle down and like focus on
Find a
my
job.
actual career strategy and get a different job because yeah, it's not working out what I'm doing now." Like so, and you said, "Oh, do the do this package," and I can't remember which one. It was like LinkedIn,
That's right.
CV, and career strategy.
That's within 2 hours of
It was
consulting with the job hunt strategy.
yeah. How many hours?
2 hours, but sometimes we do more.
It's not just 2 hours though, folks. It might say 2 hours, but it's 2 hours of a call or
Yes.
two 1 hour calls. But like
Yes.
I felt like I had her team at my disposal for like a week or more because the two calls were like spread out over about 2 weeks.
Yes.
So it was like it felt like I had you guys like I could text and I could get answers and stuff for like at least 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and then
That,
maybe like yeah, so basically, like what Tana said to me on the day when we met was, she was like, "Oh, what have you been doing?" And I said, "Oh, I have my own startup and I did this and I raised investment and blah, blah, blah. And I built a product and blah, 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 and failed at this, learned this, had my own staff, blah, blah." And she was just like, "Oh my God, like with all that experience, like, phew, you'll get a job, no problem." And I was like, "Well, it's not been easy." Like, and she was like, "Yeah, right. Hey, hold on a sec. Hey. Sorry, I'm gonna call it now, okay? You have to go to sleep tomorrow, okay? Someone wanted me to put him to bed. Sorry,
yeah.
guys. That is real life. There is an example of the other things which I have to manage in the day to day as well.
Life.
So, what was I saying? So, yeah, she said,
So
like,
you're like,
with all your experience,
it's not been easy to find a job. And I was like, Jesus, but you're Irish. Because in my mind and in our Brazilian mind, it's super
mm,
easy to find a job to Irish people.
no,
It's
it's
no
not.
problem.
Not unless not unless you have the right perspective. Like I was thinking today about like what I did, trying to summarize what I learned from working with I think it was Isabella was her name, I think, the person from your team who worked with me.
Mm-hmm.
Or is it was it Isabella or Isadora or something? Isadora. Sorry. Excuse me, Isadora, for forgetting your name.
She's a recruiter
Um
in the Netherlands. All my
yeah.
consultants are recruiters.
hmm Yeah, she was great. And like I guess the perspective that I got, perspectiva nova, né? What I had was like a different vision of like what I was trying to do and like all of the people involved in what I was trying to do. Like, of course, they helped me to make my CV more matched to the jobs which I was looking for. They helped my LinkedIn match my CV and match the jobs that I was looking for, which is obviously the basics, right?
Yeah.
And then explain to me like why I should be writing articles and posting because that'll engage with people and it'll create engagement, and it'll also. I'm sorry, love, I can't. I'm sorry, love. You're gonna have to go sleep with mommy, love, okay? I'm sorry, love. I'm in the middle of a call right now, okay? I can't. I know. I can't. This is why I said to you the last day when you asked me what time, and I was trying to push it until later because it's around bedtime, so it's really hard for me to not be involved in the bedtime routine. You can probably hear that in the background.
Don't worry.
So yeah, you guys explained to me like what the motivations were of the people that I was trying to get the attention of.
Yes,
So you were like, these are the recruitment agencies. This is their motivation. This is their goals. This is what they're using LinkedIn for. The guys
exactly.
who work in the companies and are recruiters in the companies, this is their motivations. And they deal with a lot of stuff. So they're maybe not as engaged in LinkedIn. But these
Mhm.
recruitment agencies, folks, they work on commission. So they sit on LinkedIn like salespeople. They're looking for candidates. They want to find candidates like you.
Yes,
Help them find you. So I was like,
yes.
right. So it was kind of like that was the biggest learning point of that whole thing. So it was like engage with people, write articles, even just a few, and people will just get an idea of how you speak, how you explain what you do, talk
Exactly.
about whatever you want, just talk about anything relevant. And I was like, okay, right, that's all right. I think I probably only wrote a handful, maybe like 3 articles or something.
Mhm.
Um, and I was just talking about things that I'd learned from the startup journey and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
basically. And it got a bit of engagement. But I think what really helped was
Mm.
I learned how to send messages to the recruitment agencies to get them to reach out to me, and
Yes,
then that results in a phone call, and then you talk on the phone with them for a while, and then they in their mind go, oh yeah, okay, yeah, this is a good candidate for me to try and sell. So
exactly. Exactly. That's what people don't understand. Recruitment agents, you have to sell yourself to recruitment agencies so they get the willing, like to sell you to clients.
they only have enough they only have enough hours in a week to try and sell a certain amount of candidates.
Yeah.
So I guess your goal at that point is to come across to them, make an impression, make a good first impression to them that you're a really nice person to work with,
Yeah.
first of all. Not even your experience and your qualifications and all that kind of stuff. That's got you, that's going to get you in the door in terms of your CV. But
Hmm.
probably the most important thing is that you're a cool person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's not written on your CV. You don't put in your description, I'm a cool guy.
Yes.
I'm nice to chat to. But
Yes.
unfortunately, those soft skills are things that are really important. If you're not nice to talk to, or if you can't engage in a conversation, yeah, you won't get really far because what is
Yeah.
an interview? It's a conversation.
Yeah. Exactly.
And if it's really testing, then you have to try and make it more easy and more into a conversation as well, which is another art, I guess.
Yes.
Um, I did do a bunch of interviews. So during those couple of weeks, I did a bunch of interviews, but I wasn't doing well in the interviews.
Mm.
Um, because, you know, I'm neurodivergent, so my mind works in a certain way that they're not designed for. Those interviews aren't designed for. Those interviews are designed with like they have a list of questions and they're waiting for me to have the right answer on the tip of my tongue. And I generally don't. So I was not doing well in the interviews. So
Mm.
I was thinking about what you were talking about, like with the articles and stuff like that, and kind of like showing your value kind of based on your own terms. So I was like, okay, well, this next interview, which was at a recruitment agency, a lady called Genevieve was a recruiter in an agency. She had got me this interview in a company. There wasn't even a role actually advertised. She had called the guys in the company and said, oh, there's somebody here that you might want to look at, kind of thing. Because she had placed
Wow.
people. She had placed people in there a good few times. And coincidentally, they had a role. Um, that I think they were just about to post it, or they had a role there, but I hadn't come across the role basically, but she had come across it somehow for me. And then she said, yeah, talk to them. Um, so I spoke to them on the Monday and I was hired by the Friday.
Amazing. So your first job after our services was helped through LinkedIn and also recruitment agencies. So you reached the recruitment
Yeah,
agencies.
LinkedIn is the channel. LinkedIn is the channel.
Yes, that's it. Yeah,
LinkedIn is the sales channel. Like you're selling yourself as a product, and LinkedIn is the sales channel.
yeah,
So you have to make your digital content the same way you would if you were promoting yourself as a content creator on Instagram. You would do reels. On
yes,
LinkedIn, you do articles basically. And then the same way you send DMs to people on Instagram when you need something, on LinkedIn, there's a certain way to send the DMs as well. You know,
yes,
you can connect with the note, and then you've got that little template that Tana Tarani's team will teach you how to write the little template, and you
yeah,
fill in the information, and you send them that little catchy little small paragraph, and then they're going to accept it, and they're going to say, "Oh, thanks for reaching out. Will we hop on a call? Send me your number." And then you send them your number, and then you have a phone call. Like, and it works every time.
exactly.
They're they're probably not even looking at your LinkedIn, to be honest. When they get that message in a specific format, they're like, "Oh, okay, interesting," because you've already gave them the intro in the message. You know, you've already told them in the message that you're good enough for certain roles that they hire for, right? Because during the service, Isadora was teaching me how to contact the right recruitment agencies. It's no good just contacting every recruitment agency. You have to
Yeah,
be contacting the ones that hire for roles that the type of roles that you're looking
yeah.
for.
And how did you get the second job that you told me, which was very interesting?
So during the time when I was working in ESW, I was a product strategy analyst in there, and the whole AI thing exploded, I guess, over that last year,
Yes.
2023. And I'd worked with AI in my startups and stuff like that, and I'd been around it, so it was easy for me to kind of get involved in that in the company. So I kind of became like a subject matter expert with AI for a while in the company and did workshops and
Mm-hmm.
did loads of stuff. Take a spot. Speaking about the interview process first of when I got in there,
Uh-huh.
the first interview was like an informal chat, and then the next one was going to be like you're going to speak to people from um, the team that you're going to work with. So for that interview, so I wouldn't fail like I was the last time, because generally the interviews, as I was saying, there's a list of questions and they're trying to get you to say the wrong answer. That's what it always feels like for me anyway.
Yes.
They have a barrage of questions, question after question, and they're waiting for you to make a mistake, and then they go, "Oh," and they put a big X beside your name. Like that's what it feels like. So I said, right, I'm gonna virar o jogo. I'm gonna turn the table around, turn the game around. I'm gonna go to the interview with a presentation. So on
Very good.
Sunday, the Monday was the interview. So on Sunday, I knew the role was product strategy analyst. I had the job description.
Mm-hmm.
So I did some research around what that would be from what it said in the job description. And then I looked up the company and I created a presentation saying, based on what I found online, based on what product strategy is as a concept, this was the company's product strategy for the last 10 years. It was a 10-year-old company. So
Yeah.
I guessed. I made a presentation guessing what the product strategy of the company was. And I was
Yeah.
right, because the information is there online. So you can look it up and you're not really guessing if you put in the time. And then I made some suggestions about different areas that the company should focus in their product strategy in the coming years. So it's like a 10 slide deck. And they
Yes.
didn't they didn't clap their hands, but they were impressed. They were very impressed. And then they had a couple of questions. But at that point, most of the interview had been taken up by me impressing them rather than them trying to get me to say the wrong answer. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. It does make sense. Definitely does make sense. Look, Priscilla say, hello, Tony and James. I think in Ireland, if you have a great network, can help to get a job too. And also they ask for reference previous jobs, né? And o
Mm-hmm.
famoso quem indica. It helps a lot. So yes,
Does
the
help.
references are very important indeed. Are very important indeed. I'm
But
not
I
saying.
don't know if you can get in. I don't know if you can get into tech with just references though, because like I was trying to break my way into tech at the
Hmm,
time.
okay,
So without anybody in there to reference me,
it
I'm just
wouldn't be.
going like I wouldn't have been able to use that. I was trying to go in first and ask for lots of money. Like I was asking for lots of money as well. Funny story. I spoke to one recruitment agency and the guy's name was Rob. I won't tell you the name of the recruitment agency.
Mm-hmm,
So, and he was trying to place me for a job. And I said,
mm-hmm,
yeah, I'm looking for 100,000 as a salary, you know? And he said,
mm.
yeah, but it's your first job in tech. Like, what do you mean you're looking for 100,000? And I was like, yeah, because I'm the only provider of my family. I live in Ireland. My rent is X amount. My car payments are X amount. My insurance. I can't survive on less than 5 grand a month. So
And
of
what did
course.
you say?
And he was like, no, 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 no. You're going into your like first job in tech. Like you have to aim max like 60 grand. I said,
60.
no. I said, no, no. I wouldn't take that much. Sorry.
How was it?
So he was like, oh, I'll let you do the interview, but like they won't be going above 60 grand for the product manager job in whatever company. And I said, well, good luck to them. They'll find somebody who will. I probably won't take the job, you know. And they didn't offer me the job anyway, but I wouldn't taken it because it was way too low. Like 60 grand after tax is like 3.5 grand a month or something in
Yes, but
Ireland.
this salary for some people, it's actually really good. It depends, like of the person, like if you have a family or
Yeah.
not.
If you have a family and stuff, it's
You're,
hard like to survive
you're
on that much.
Irish. You're Irish is different. For sure is different.
I was so, but the thing is, I was doing my own startup and consulting and stuff for a couple of years, and like I was sick of earning not enough money. So I was really determined to break into tech, but to get like at least 80 grand. I was looking for at least 80 grand salary,
Yeah,
and that's
80
what I
grand.
got. I got
Yeah.
78 plus bonus.
Amina is asking how to gain the level of motivation to use LinkedIn as a professional. Because, sometimes it
It's
demotivates.
not motivating. Yeah.
Use and you don't get any answer or don't get, like enough response.
Mm. So when you say as a professional, like if you need something when you're already in your job, is that if that's what you mean as use it as a professional, like when you're already in your job and you want to use LinkedIn as a channel or as leverage to get somewhere else, then you just need to use it with that purpose. Like
Exactly.
for instance, I have a friend Mark, for instance, and I referred him just a few days ago, and the guy looked at his LinkedIn and said, "But I don't understand from his LinkedIn why you would be referring him for this. Like, what would he do? Why do you think he had that impression?" Because Mark's LinkedIn was set up in a different way. It was set up in a way for a role that he was in previously, where it was more sales focused. So
Mm,
he was trying to sell the service with his LinkedIn, if you get
mm,
me.
I get
So
it.
his LinkedIn wasn't advertising him as a
It was
as a
the
technologist.
company, the service.
It was advertising the niche that he was working in through him, if you get me.
Yes.
So it's really like when you say to gain the level of motivation to use LinkedIn as a professional, I guess you need to send in another question, Amna, about exactly what you need to do in your career, and then you will find out what you need to do. Then you will talk to someone from her team, spend a few hours with them, and put your strategy hat on and say, okay, this is my purpose. And then you'll put together the framework and say, okay, every day I need to go in and I need to do X, Y, and Z. Like in my case,
Exactly.
was every morning, have my breakfast, open the computer, and sit there and just apply, apply, apply. Not just apply for jobs, as in apply as in send a message to a new recruiter, reply to the one that you're already speaking to, get in touch with the one that you haven't spoken to for a week, blah, 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 blah. Same as sales. You're just work on all those leads, work on all those connections.
Exactly. That's it. You have, like motivation is like going to the gym. You have to do it. Just you have to do it. So do it. Like um you try for me to find a motivation to use like social media or something that I don't really enjoy. Uh it's I try to see the small things that happen when I do, like actions in the platform. So let's say a connection or a message. So I see this small responses as a gain, as a result, which makes me more motivated to keep going, to understand. Okay, so if he answered today, maybe, like another recruiter or another hire manager from another company will ask me for an interview. Today is a reply, maybe tomorrow is an interview.
Hmm. Yeah, you want to turn a reply into a phone call, basically. The
Yeah.
recruiters, especially in Ireland anyway, the recruitment agencies, their agents, they're looking for a phone call first because they want to gauge and get a picture of who you are on the phone. And then they have a conversation with you. Then you'll work from there towards them getting you an interview in a company, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, consistency matters. Yeah,
Yeah.
consistency, but also like when I say when we were talking before what we were going to talk about and like having a strategy, like a strategy is different than a plan. Like a plan is like something that's really predictable. So you have like step
Mhm.
1 to 10. That's a plan. A strategy is more like an approach with a purpose, with like an end goal. So your end goal is this. This is the approach that you need to apply to reach that goal, and you need to adapt as you go. You need to adapt based on what's happening with your strategy. So
Yes.
you, so I think that's the most important thing
That's
to
a very,
consider. Like, you know,
very good point. Because, for example, I always tell clients to use a strategy, which is very annoying sometimes. Some people it's annoying to really like to write on people's posts, like comment on people's posts, professional posts. A lot of clients just, like roll their eyes up and go like, oh, don't I really have to do that?
there's memes about, isn't there like a really funny video meme that was going around a few weeks ago, whenever, and your man is like sitting on his balcony on LinkedIn going,
Yes.
"Congratulations on the new role,
Congratulations.
Catherine." And it's
Yes.
like, yeah, like it is.
Yes, I saw
It's
that.
all fake. Like
I
it's
know
all
it's
fake.
but it's
But
it's true. Do you understand? Like I've got a client that he is now working at Johnson & Johnson in the Netherlands because he started a discussion with another professional in the Johnson & Johnson's director's post. So both guys, like were like answering each other,
totally.
like, and then suddenly the director saw, like his LinkedIn, like 50 messages, and he started to read the conversation, and they asked my client for an interview, and now he's hired.
Yeah, of course. It's unconventional ways that are going to get you to get people's attention. Like, funnily, we're talking about LinkedIn here, right? And I'm not suggesting that you use a different platform, but new platforms are born all the time. Like right now, 2 days ago, I was invited to a social audio platform called AirChat, which is backed by a few investors who I admire. So, like, there are people in the tech space who have billions of dollars invested in multiple different companies. One of them's name is Naval, right? Who I saw on a podcast a couple of years ago, and I follow him since. So he's one of the people from the tech space, which I like listening to. He's invested and co-founded this platform, and there's only a small amount of people on this platform now. So I was literally interacting with him today on this platform,
Wow.
and other people from Silicon Valley. Like, there's guys interacting with me on there who, were in the room when Uber was created, or when um, all these different companies were created. Like, they were telling the stories like, oh yeah, we were in Paris and then there was no cars and there was a snowstorm, and then that's where these two guys came up with Uber and they jumped in my car and blah blah blah. Like, I was talking to these people on a social media platform. And that's essentially what Tanya is saying. Like, if you don't know who you're going to be engaging with, like, most
Yeah.
of the business community are on LinkedIn. Not all of them, but most of the middle level executives down in most of the big companies are all messing around on LinkedIn when they should be doing something else.
Yeah.
They should be doing their jobs and they're on LinkedIn for an hour or two every day. So take
Yeah.
advantage of that and try and find common interest, and engage with people. Who knows, you might yeah, can you Não é visto, não é lembrado, exactly.
Não lembrado. Exatamente, Priscila. It's 1 billion people in the platform. They reached 1 billion people. And I keep telling my clients, what makes you go to the first page when a recruiter makes a search, or the 10th or the 100th? You know, it's
Yeah,
just a bit.
exactly. It's a search engine for them. And look, we were speaking about a few minutes ago about like you guys taught me about like the motivations of the different people that I was trying to contact. I don't know if we're talking too much about this topic, but the motivations of each of those players, like you have to think of LinkedIn as a game. You're a
Hmm,
player. You're a player. Try and think about it like this. You're looking at the board game. You're a player, and all of the recruiters are players. They have motivations. You're one of 1 billion players on this other side. They're using LinkedIn as a search engine and as a
mm,
posting engine. So they have a
yeah.
bunch of clients who need
Mhm.
candidates. So they give the description of the job post to them. Then they reword it and then they post it. And then they use LinkedIn as a search engine to find you out of 1 billion people. But not
Yes.
1 billion people are suitable for that role. And if you are suitable for that role, which I hope you're applying for jobs that you're suitable for, because then there's no point otherwise, you want them to find you, whether that's from you applying directly, which has actually never been successful for me. Actually, sending my CV to a job application on LinkedIn has never resulted in a conversation or an interview.
Really
Never. Only directly contacting the person.
good to know.
Or in this current job, I didn't even apply because there wasn't a role. I just posted that I'm looking for work. And because I have neurodiversity in my title, he's also openly ADHD and likes to hire people who are. So we just had a conversation about that on a call, and then that resulted in me working there.
What you posted on LinkedIn that you were
I posted on
searching?
LinkedIn. Yeah, I left the company which I joined in November, and my dad passed away, and I spent a few weeks kind of emotionally working through all that, and then eventually I was like, no, I need to do the LinkedIn hat again. So I put on my LinkedIn hat. I went onto LinkedIn and I said, "Hi everyone, blah 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 blah." Some ChatGPT helped create my
Of
little post.
course.
I need to come say that I'm open for work. I'm looking for jobs such as blah 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 blah. Whatever. I can't remember. You can probably find it there on my LinkedIn somewhere. So I posted that, and then he replied, "Oh, let's have a chat or whatever." And then we spoke, and then that was like 4 or 5 conversations, as in like video calls. And then we met in person, and then yeah, you hired me.
Hmm, that's amazing.
So it's the unconventional ways that work on LinkedIn because there's
So
too much noise.
cool.
Because there's too much noise on LinkedIn, like as well. So it's all well and good understanding that game that I was explaining, but that might not even really help you. But you do have to understand that that's the game. Like that's why I was explaining that like a video game or like a board game, because
Yeah,
it's a system. Like LinkedIn is a system, and
yeah.
according to the recruiters who worked in the agencies, they said it's actually like a very annoying system for them. It's almost like it's purposely made to be a little bit broken so that they need to pay for like the paid version of it, and it's expensive, and like they can't just use LinkedIn as a user when they're a recruiter.
Yeah, you
They
have
have
to
to
pay the
pay.
premium account or the LinkedIn recruiter. And even if you have two options, you have the LinkedIn recruiter Lite and the LinkedIn recruiter. So the recruiter Lite doesn't have all the features, the full recruiter
There you go.
has. Yeah, and it's
Even though
really expensive.
even though they probably find candidates through unconventional means a lot of the time, like through a post or through a conversation or through a direct contact anyway,
True,
but they
true.
still have to
So someone, like a friend,
tagging.
a client of mine. That's funny. That's true story. A client of mine saw a post on a recruiter LinkedIn page and she tagged a friend. And the recruiter checked her profile and interviewed her and hired her. But she tagged her friend. It's so funny, right?
Yeah, because
I have
they're
so
trying
many
to they're
stories.
yeah, because they're trying to find good people. Like at the end of the day, like I think. Yeah, if you're thinking about it like a game, right? Like your job hunt strategy, just in general, like it's a game. Those guys are the ones that you have to get to buy into you as a person and as a candidate, right? As a candidate, as in your CV and your LinkedIn page, right? But behind that is a person. So the reason, for instance, in that case, the person who was tagging her friend, she was trying to say, look, this job would be great for you, was the one who caught attention because they said, oh, what type of person tries to help her friend? Anybody
Yeah,
know the answer to that? A good person.
a good person. Yes.
Simple. That's what they're looking for. Any company doesn't want to, they don't want to hire a fake person.
Yeah.
They want to hire a good person. But unfortunately, you have to fake it a little bit with the whole beautiful CV and beautiful LinkedIn because that's the platform where you're speaking to these people. It's the same with like Instagram ads. Do you think all those really fake looking ads are realistically representing that product or that
No.
person who's selling the services? Not really, but they have to do that in order to get your attention.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's good to think about it that way, like, and then just be a good, genuine person. Just be yourself when you're talking to somebody through an interview process. Don't be nervous. Like, I know it's easy to say don't be nervous, but one thing which used to help me when I was pitching. So I've pitched to investors before multiple times where I'm asking for money, right?
Mm-hmm.
They have to give me money. They have to believe in me so much that they're going to give me money, and it's nerve-wracking. You're nervous before it. So what I used to do is I put on songs, or I had like one or two songs that I used to use that would make me smile. So I'd put on like 5 minutes before the call would start because there would be video calls as well. So I'd put on this song Sarava, which is written by a friend of mine, and Serge George is singing the song, and it's like Sarava, and whatever it does to me, it opens up my face and opens up my smile, and I'm happy and I'm dancing around, and then I turn on the call and I'm like, hi, do you know what I mean? Whereas
Yes.
before I was like, hello.
How are you? Nice to meet
Do
you.
you know what? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, hi, nice to meet you. Oh yeah, sorry, such and such person is late. Just hold on a minute, and then it was like that awkward silence for like 5 minutes, and everything's cold. So I used to
Yeah.
put on the music, and I'd be like dancing around here on my own, "Ba, ba, 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 ba," and then the call comes on, I'm like, hi, you know.
Yeah. That's a
So
good thing. Good strategy to follow. Yeah. Because I heard a lot about other strategies like to fake you are, Superman, or like to jump before the call, just to bring your energy up. But these
yeah,
are all, like strategies to bring your energy up. Like if a music brings your energy up, so do it.
exactly. Yeah, put on your favorite samba, put on your favorite whatever, and dance around.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
Very good. That's amazing. Such amazing stories, such amazing strategies. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
No worries, yeah. And LinkedIn then has always kind of been that for me since then, I guess. So even when I was in the job, I was like, okay, I want to get a role in this company. I was looking for them to give me like a role as like the head of AI or the chief AI strategist or whatever. Super ambitious, right? Like I've only just walked in the door, like who the fuck am I to be asking them to give me a senior position in the company, right? But I'm confident enough to believe that I could. So I was using LinkedIn that way, posting about that, sharing stuff about that, adding people in all of the big AI companies, making content and doing workshops in the company about AI and stuff to try and build up that profile. So
Yes.
therefore, when I left that company, I had a few different offers to work as a product manager in different AI companies.
Yes.
That wasn't my end goal. I was trying to get that role in that company. But ultimately I got that role in a different company
Yes.
because that was my purpose and that was I was using the platform for.
Yes. And
So
so your purpose was to get a job into AI.
I wanted to work in AI either in that company or in the end I accepted going to work in a company that was focused mostly on AI. So if you scroll down to November, scroll down before that one. Um, so Emerge Gen, Chief Product Officer, which sounds
Mhm.
really senior, right? And it
Yeah.
was senior, but it was a small team. It's a new company, like, and ultimately I left after only a few months because there wasn't a personality match. There was a lot of personality clashes there. So I didn't
Mhm.
actually want to stay there. So it was good that I left, to be honest.
Actually, good you mentioned it, because it's better to leave when you feel there is, like a personality clash, or if you feel the environment, the culture is toxic, the environment is toxic, because it's so bad for mental health. You do not know how much I hear about, like the toxic cultures
Yeah.
afflicting, like professionals.
Hmm. Yeah. No, it was good. It was good that I ended up leaving. But and it was funny because you messaged me and said like, oh, it's a short thing on your job, like career, like you probably shouldn't include it. But I'm just too confident. I didn't even listen to your advice. I left it in.
But it's up to you. Like, look, now you are, working exactly where you wanted.
Yeah, basically I am like, and there's a few more opportunities on the horizon as well, which will be even more suited to what I want to do. Like, but right now, just back doing consulting for now until the company raises their investment, and then hopefully it'll result in like a full-time contract.
And
But it's okay, like it's fine right now. Like it's more focused on what I wanted to be doing,
perfect. And
which
you
is what I
you
was trying to
actually
say about your purpose.
you actually went through a career change.
Hmm.
How
Yeah.
did you do that? How would you, like, advise people that are
So
trying to change career, change area?
yeah, so like you're trying, if I was trying to change into an area which I'm passionate about,
Yes.
so it's easy for me to talk about that space. It's easy for me to talk about AI, right? And AI helps me to sound better when I'm talking about it if I'm typing, right? Because I'm able to make my sentences better, more concise, my emails more concise, everything, right? So you should be using AI as your personal assistant for anything that you're typing, for sure,
Yeah.
because you'll look much better, like especially if English is your second language,
Yes.
you know? And yeah, just make sure you proofread everything before you send anything, but as long as it's accurate, use that to write your emails or write your messages or whatever, because, you're going to sound better. You're going to sound more professional. Ask ChatGPT to make me sound more professional, and then just send in your random rant about whatever it is that you wanted to say, and it's going to rewrite it for you and say it properly. Yeah. And then your message sounds all, professional and
Polished.
patient and polished, concise, and then you send that. Oh, so how you career change? I mean, Brazil, right? Well, let's talk to the Brazilian community for a minute, right? Brazilians are a rare people, okay? Not
Mm,
because the quantity of Brazilians, but Brazilians as like a type of person are very rare, right? They're very innovative. They're very entrepreneurial. They're very resourceful, okay? So think about that. Compared to a qualified person, even if you're underqualified compared to that person, you're more resourceful by nature. So, oh, but I'm in an interview and the other candidate is Irish. Yeah, but on average, Brazilians are more resourceful than Irish people. So
yes.
leverage that. How can I leverage that? I don't know exactly. I'm not sitting in your shoes, right? But show that you're resourceful. Do your
Mm,
homework on the company before the interview and come in with like loads of knowledge in your head and be like, oh yeah, I know the way you're doing this on social media, but like maybe you could do this better. Show that you're resourceful, show that you're brave, show that you're willing to like think outside the box, learn new skills. Like, don't just
yeah,
say I'm a, strong-minded, motivated, blah blah blah. Like, don't say that.
yeah.
Like, don't say that at all. Just say like, no, I'm resourceful, I'm resilient. I like learning new things. I like learning new skills. I'm hungry to learn. I'm hungry for growth. I'm changing career because what I was doing before was boring, and then I was so resourceful that I decided I'm going to sell everything in Brazil and move to Ireland to be a cleaner for 3 years. Oh, put cleaner on your thing. Yeah, why not? They're going to realize that you were a bloody accountant at home and you were so resourceful and so entrepreneurial that you were willing to throw that all away, start from zero, and clean fucking toilets for 3 years. Do you know what that shows? That shows character.
Hmm.
Shows somebody who's willing to start from zero again. That's a
Yeah.
rare person. So Brazilians are already a rare breed. The Brazilians who have made it to Ireland are even rarer again. So if you've made it to Ireland and you're Brazilian, you're already like one of a kind.
Yes.
So remember
Super.
that you're Superman, like, or you're Superwoman at that stage. So wear that on your on your t-shirt, wear that on your chest, and wear that into your conversations, and let that come across. Um, yeah, and that's
Yeah.
basically it. I don't think you really need much else than that. You just need to be yourself and be proud of how all the
Confident.
things you've achieved. Confident, be proud, be a nice person because you probably are already. Don't come across as being like shy and kind of like afraid in the conversation. Because even if you are feeling like that,
Yeah.
sometimes it can be okay. Sometimes they'll read between the lines, realize that you're nervous or whatever. But generally, if you come across nervous or like really low and kind of,
Yeah.
that it's gonna come across like weird in the interview. They're gonna be like, oh,
Yes,
fuck, here we
that's true.
go.
Another weird one.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we are all weird, right? But you have to, sell it in the interview process. And yeah, the numbers game of LinkedIn, like the numbers game, as in you're gonna have to do this every day for like
Every
weeks and weeks and weeks, like weeks
day.
and weeks grinding, just like you were if you were delivering newspapers every morning. Like in order for you to sell all those news or get paid for delivering the newspapers, you gotta go out every day. Like
Yeah.
so,
Every day, every day,
yeah,
every non-stop
basically
until
that's it.
you find the job. That's it. Very good.
Yeah, until you get the job, and like it might take longer than it took me only a few weeks, but maybe I was lucky, or maybe my profile from being in startups for a while was easier for people to match into tech. But like if you're a graduate software developer, or you've done like Code Institute or whatever, and you're like a junior dev and you're looking for your first thing, whatever, yeah, be confident. Like
Yeah.
you did some projects on a coding course, but you haven't really built any like big software or anything. Yeah, so what? Make sure all the projects that you built are hosted online so you can send them a link. So if they say like, show me something that you've built, you have a link ready and you just ping it to them and say, oh, I built this website last week.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
You're confident. And they go, oh, wow, okay. It's actually really nicely styled or whatever. And they'll say, okay, maybe this person might be, good to go in as an intern in the UI team or whatever. Because
Yes.
all these big companies have thousands of people in them, you know.
Try to
And they need
try
it.
to
They need
talk
entry level
with
people too.
others. Yeah. Yeah.
They need entry level people like as well. So yeah, and sometimes you got to start at the bottom as well, like in those companies, and go in on like 30, 40, 50 grand a year and make your way up the ladder.
30. Some
But
people even go for free, unpaid internship. They would do everything for an unpaid internship.
yeah, and maybe yeah, for a month or two. Don't do that for long, but
Not every, yeah, of course, but like it's the
use that
opportunity.
as an opportunity. Yeah, yeah, use that as an opportunity. If that's a door into Google or something, you're not going to say no,
Yeah.
right? Like you're going to go in and you're going to show them why you're valuable enough to go in full time, you know?
James, thank
So
you very
that's it.
much for
No
taking this
worries.
time to talk to all of us here, share your story, share your um all the results you had, because so interesting. And coming from an Irish, it's way more valuable, because
I hope so.
they think Irish, like if you're Irish, you're grand, everything's
Nah.
fine. Yeah, and it's not true. Everyone has good days and bad days. Everyone.
100%. And it's difficult for everyone, like, especially if you're working for most of your life in stuff that you don't even like. So you're like, yeah, but why would I be proud of the last few years working, doing whatever you were doing? Because
Yes.
you weren't proud of it. But just if that is the case, make sure you're trying to career change into something that you do like. So at
Yeah.
least you're going to be passionate about talking about it.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
know, and in the
That's right.
era of AI, when AI is going to automate everything, like people are going to have to be working with stuff that they like to do, you
Yes.
know? So
Yeah.
make sure what the career that you're trying to get into, you know, involves, whatever that career involves, is stuff that you're interested in too. Like Tana has helped God knows how many thousands of people because not because she likes LinkedIn or because she likes CVs. It's because she likes helping people.
Yeah.
That's why Tana has Storani Careers, because she likes helping Brazilians. Am I
Yeah.
right? Anybody who can tell me yes or no in the comments, but I believe that's why Tana does what she does. And that's why you're amazing. And that's why everybody loves you. And
Thank
so
you.
do I. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
it's great to be a part of your community and to have had those lessons for those couple of days to help me, sell myself better and use my time and use the platform wisely, I'm really
Yes.
grateful. So thank
Oh,
you.
thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So, guys, time to go. It was lovely to have you all here, and I hope you liked. And if you liked, give your, like your comments here, and do whatever you know what to do. Everything that you have to do to keep helping us here. And we see each other in the next video.
Take care, guys. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye.